the first site like 10 years ago at this whole thing before we knew what we were doing. But this is my old shirt, and it's
reminded me.
Fantasy Bet Talk.
Oh, nice.
It was just a thing we tried to do a while back, and we actually got some looks. That's actually how the people from RG found me.
Okay.
But anyway, so it's an interesting little slate here. It's small, and my intentions when the slates are small are to get different. So I'm going to do just that. What are you looking at doing today, Sheets?
Well, I don't know exactly what different is. That's the thing. I don't know exactly what the chalk is, but
Seattle's different.
But one thing I'm not playing. I don't think I'm playing anything from the Yankee game.
Interesting.
So I guess that's already somewhat different, I suppose. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yep.
I'm kind of taking a little bit of leverage off of some of these guys. Like right now, my big buy, and I'm trying to not maybe not full 5-man, but I'm playing the Braves against what's his face. And I like that, and I got talked into not talked into, but I'm going to play some Miami as well. So little sneaky leverage off of those two little bits of chalk. And on the pitching side, for now, I'm my big one. I am going to go with Max Fried in my big one. And right now, Gallen's going to be my number 2.
That's fine.
Obviously not in the lineups with the Miamis, but with wait a minute. Yeah, he's not against. Yeah, he's against Miami, right? So Max Fried and Gallen's probably going to be my 2 main ones. But I'm playing, and they'll be my 2 highest owned across the board as well. Right. But I'm playing a couple of pitchers.
Yeah, I'm going with a couple different pitchers as well. I will, as I mentioned earlier, be stacking Seattle.
I like that.
And you know the pricing to do it on FanDuel, you're not fooling anybody. To do it on DraftKings is just not going to be done.
Right.
And I like all of it. I like it down all the way down. If you want to play Kalenic or Julio Rodriguez, I like a lot. At the top, I like France and Winker, Eugenio Suarez. I think that it's a nice stack. And I'm playing Tampa Bay. So I am definitely a little bit off of the board today.
Yeah.
Nobody at 10% owned basically in almost all my lineups on DraftKings. I did eat a little bit of the Buxton chalk. I did eat a little bit of the, or I don't know about how chalky, but I think it'll be pretty popular.
Where on FanDuel or DraftKings?
I have it more on FanDuel than I do on DK.
Yeah, I don't have any Buxton on DraftKings.
Yeah, but for what it's worth, I do like Buxton, and I'm also going to take some weird shots on some pitchers. Like I'm looking at I'm going to play Stripling in some lineups.
Yeah, I got a couple.
Yeah. And I mean, like I have him currently in one of my 4 big buy-ins between the sites. So I do think that there is some merit here, and he's being completely overlooked. I don't exactly understand it. I mean, the Yankees do strike out. They'll work pitchers. He threw 84 pitches his last time out. He pitched 5 innings, 7 strikeouts against Boston. 20 fantasy points may be good enough to win, and I think he's definitely has a chance to do that. I also like getting weird with even though I am playing some of the bats from Minnesota, I'm going to play some Tyler Wells. I'm not buying this 3.5K prop. I think that's a good bet to go out and make. The guy's got strikeout stuff. Now, whether or not he puts it all together, I'm always going to like we talked about before. I'm always going to bet on these young guys to be what they were. You know what I mean? They just
to be what they're supposed to be. What they're supposed to be.
What they're supposed to be, yeah, or what they have been in the minors or whatever. Or right. In high school or in college or whatever. We haven't seen the strikeout totals yet, but you look at Tyler Wells' matchups. I mean, he's had the Yankees twice, Tampa Bay, he was just pitching a little bit in that one. I mean, he was only pitched in inning 2/3, and then he had the weird game against Oakland. I just think there's enough upside to take a weird shot there, especially against a Minnesota team that, even though they've been on fire, their lineup has a lot of guys that you can strike out. So I'm good with those things. And I like it. It's kind of a nice slate to get a little different. I mean, the fact that you have fractional of runs difference between most of these teams, and they're pretty concentrated chalks between New York, Houston, and Toronto. I'll just skip most of those guys. Use a couple of them as one-offs if I need to, because I can use a chalky one-off because my lineups aren't chalky. So that's what I'm doing. Say what's up to everybody in the chat. What's up, Adam? Let's freaking go. Shark says NHL playoff, MLB, and And so when did the NHL playoffs start today? Sheets?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so I did a little video on hockey today.
Oh, did they start yesterday by any chance? I couldn't figure out why
I think there was a one gamer maybe. I think yesterday.
Oh yeah, because it was really weird. They never do that with basketball. Is have just the first weekend of the whatever we're in the second round, and the games to be over at like 4:00. I was like, is there some big event that I'm missing? So trying to figure that one out. I love the Tampa Bay running thing is a big part of why I want to stack them. I just think that these guys take off enough where, and they kind of all do, right? Like Rosarena will run sometimes, Franco will run, Kiermaier will run, Lau will run. And it's just, you could win this slate without hitting home runs potentially. This could be one of those non-home run type of slates,
Yeah. Who are you playing on FanDuel as your main pitcher?
So that's a good question and K9 Bronco just asked that question to me about my main pitcher on FanDuel is going to be Fried. And my reasoning is that while he may not have the same strikeout upside or whatever we want to call it, I think he has the best chance of anybody to pitch 6 really good innings and I also think he has a reasonable chance to get the win. I too like Atlanta more than I like the Mets in this game. I do have some Bassett, don't get me wrong, but like I just think that, and I also think that on FanDuel you're going to get lower ownership on Fried than all the other top guys. So I will take Fried over the other. Bassett's going to be more popular. Lopez is going to be more popular. I'll just take Bassett. I think that if you had to put my life on it and I was just, I was playing a cash one, if I was playing a cash lineup, I probably would play Lopez. But I like going with Fried. And it saves me just enough to be able to get the Buxton guys. And K9 Bronco asked if I'm playing Seattle on FanDuel. I'm specifically trying not to play too much of Seattle on FanDuel because I think Seattle will actually be popular. Let me just take a quick look at the ownership. It's always interesting in baseball, especially Sheets. Like the pricing shouldn't matter. The ownership should. Jesse Winker is projected to be 40% owned almost. And he's going to be like 10% on DK. Suarez is going to be like 20% owned. He's going to be like 5% on DK. You know what I mean? All of these guys. So, Ty France, he'll be low on both sides, but he'll be a little more owned on FanDuel. So I'm okay with it. I think Adam Frazier is a good value saver. It doesn't really have the home run upside, but this may not be the slate where you need it, like I said. And if I like Seattle already to get some runs, I think he can do some damage. He just doesn't hit home runs. So I do like Seattle over there. I just think that at their ownership, I'm preferring to take the zero ownership path and play them on DK.
I'm pretty spread out on FanDuel with my pitching actually, and in my big one right now, I'm not particularly thrilled with it, but right now I'm actually have Rasmussen in my big one there. I just like what it's doing for the rest of my lineup. I know it's a lot to ask for him to back-to-back 6-inning games like that. But that's where I am right now. I have to figure out what I want to do with it though.
Yeah, I think Rasmussen is totally viable on both sites. I have him like 15%, but I'm going to be below the field. I know that. That's fine with me. That's just what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm using some of this Jose Miranda. Are you using some of that guy?
I don't even know who that is.
He plays for he's batting 6th for Minnesota.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm using him quite a bit for what it's worth. But yeah, so and then I hope this question was asked already. Like we just said that the top stacks are going to be Houston, New York, and Toronto. Those are the highest owned by far. Sheets, a question from Adam Perry. Are you going to be able to do a final NHL projection?
I just updated like in the last half an hour. I don't know if
they're all, so then they're all good right now. There's your answer, Adam. He's Lin-Manuel Miranda's cousin. Is that actually true? There's no way that's true, right? Maybe it is true. Who knows? I don't think it really is. I think it's just kind of a funny thing. But anyway, we could also talk a little NBA because I do think we've got a nice little, it's a 2-gamer, but we're not going to have many 2-gamers left. So I'm going to be playing some NBA.
You know what? But Adam, I might actually do one more just for fun if I have a little time. Just because the baseball is going to close at 6:40, so I'll have another couple of minutes to do another FanDuel one. I honestly don't know if I'm going to be able to do it again. That's the answer to your question.
All right. All right, let's see. We've got.
But I'm going to go over right now probably what I'm playing. But.
Yeah. Oh, look, I guess Lin-Manuel. It is true. Wow, that's wild. That's wild stuff.
That definitely sounds like something I would have made up.
I thought so too. I actually think it's a perfect Sheetism.
Yeah.
But you would have found some way to incorporate like Hamilton or something into it.
Right. I would have thought it was like Lionel Manuel's like son from like the wide receiver from the Giants from the 80s or
something. Anyway, who do I like most? What do I like most in my Seattle stack? like I said, I think you could stack it any which way. I don't think you have to worry about ownership at all if you're stacking them. I like Rodriguez. I think the guy's actually going to be decent. And I like France at his overpriced. I like Suarez. I'm currently trying to find a way to get in some more I'm going to use some Toro. I literally can't find the other 300 in one of my lineups, and I love my double 4-4 stack, so I'm not messing with it. But I do think that that if you can, playing the leadoff Frazier versus Toro is probably the better idea. For what it's worth, Toro does have more power than a lot more. I mean, everybody has more power than Frazier, but Frazier is going to get his points from singles and maybe a stolen base, and Toro will occasionally hit some out, and that's basically what you're open for. So those are my main Seattle guys. The Suarez. I like Crawford too, but I just happen to like Correa and Franco a ton at shortstop. So and I like Bichette too. So I'm not getting to as much of the Crawford even in my Seattle stacks. Which, as I say that out loud now, I know what's going to happen. Crawford's going to hit a home run, have 2 stolen bases, and the rest of the stack will score like 2 runs. And he would have, but if I would have used him, he would have probably been enough to get me there or something like that. You know what I mean? Right. It's just always, so maybe I'll put him in my little, in a version of one of my Seattle stacks. Kalinick, another one you can use 100%. I actually think that's a really good idea to play Kalinick. I really do. I think that you've got a guy who I still believe the talent is there. I don't care that we're not seeing much of it so far. I just believe that it's going to eventually round into form. Now, I did that a lot last year, and it wasn't very fun. But I do like Kalinick for what it's worth, and I would try to get some exposure there. But again, he's batting 8th. Usually you'd get the little edge. You'd be, oh, great, he's batting 8th also, all that stuff. But nobody's going to play him now. But the truth is, no one's going to play these guys anyway. So you don't really need to worry about getting it for any reason to get different or anything like that. And let's put Crawford in this one. And there we go. Yeah, it's just so crazy their pricing. I mean, I honestly don't know what's happening. Like when I saw it, I was like, why are they doing this? What is the reason for it? It's just it's a crazy pricing. But hey, it's a 4-game slate. There's plenty of ways to save, both pitching and hitting wise. So let's do it. All right. Let's see other ones. Any other questions before we get into some NBA stuff, which we don't have my man Nick Nelson, who's always bugging us to drop to baseball and just talk about the NBA, but he's not in there right now. Jim says his mouse won't let him click. Well, the 6K, the thing I want to encourage you, Jim, to do is absolutely ignore that stuff when it comes to baseball. These prices doesn't mean a thing, really. First of all, it's one of the best matchups in the board. Ty France against Odorizzi. You have a reverse splits righty who gives up a ton of power. France is going to, he hits the ball in the air. It's just everything about it looks like it's a good spot. Favorite spend down at catcher. I don't love any of it, but my answer is going to be Chirinos. Sheets, do you have another cheap catcher that you're using? You can use Maldonado. He'll be owned too, but I'll take Chirinos, a career much more powerful hitter than Maldonado.
Yeah, I usually with the catchers just end up unless really, really good, I usually just end up what's in my stacks.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's that makes sense, but there's not really the cheap ones to go with some of the stacks that we've talked about.
Right.
You have Jeffers in Minnesota. You've got Chirinos. I do think the best catching option is probably Kirk when you factor all things considered. I have some Zunino who's batting 9th in some lineups just because of the power upside, and I'm playing Tampa Bay. And I do want to make it clear that I'm saying what I'm doing tonight. I don't want to go out. I don't want people to expect to have winning tournament results every day. I mentioned it to some people in the chat. You should expect to lose, and then when you win, you want to make up for all the losses and then some. You're trying to take shots. I don't think by any means that Seattle should be is the best power stack, is the most talented stack. No, the best teams are like the Yankees and Houston and Toronto. They have the best lineups of any of the teams playing tonight. I need to win tournaments, so this is what I got to do. I got to get different. So that's why I'm leaning towards all this. But when we talk about plays and people are like, oh my God, but you like this guy at 6K and he was 0 for 4 yesterday. Just that stuff doesn't even mean a thing to me. You cannot be results oriented when you're playing baseball on a night by night basis. Now you can look back.
I got bad news for you guys.
What's that?
You can't be results oriented in anything.
That's fair enough, actually, Sheets. All you can do is improve the process, right?
And that applies to almost everything in life. So,
yep. So that's the thing. And then if we have guys think, I can't believe I lost again, the bat doesn't know what it's doing, and whatever the hell they wrote in the chat.
What is it? Oh no!
He's saying all the projection systems don't work because none of them let him win. And I'm like, if you got to do the work yourself too, you got to find things that you like. You could take things that we say. Not everything everybody says is going to be accurate. It's just impossible in baseball. In basketball, you can be closer, but you're still never always going to be accurate.
Before we move on to the NBA, I did promise I would talk for a minute about this. So for those of you that were interested in the hockey, I am going to be about 50% Toronto tonight and about 35% Edmonton. I'm not going to be playing the Carolinas. It's just going to be too chalky for me. And even the Boston, I'm just going to hope that game certainly has the biggest total by like a lot. I'm just going to hope it just doesn't deliver. That's the best I can describe.
That makes sense.
And then we could, and I'm going to actually run my NBAs kind of live here. And again, it's just, it's kind of fun, with a 2-gamer. You just got to take a couple of shots and hope you kind of get lucky here.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, let's do this. So I agree with what Joanne said. I'll recap the pitching real quick fast in a second. But Joanne, I like the Seattle, Minnesota together. I'm with you on that. So that's what I'm doing today. I also we'll go through real quickly the pitching before we get out of here. Before we go over to basketball, I like. So I'm sort of more spread out on pitching than usual. In my big buy-in lineups, of my 3 biggest, Fried is in 2 of them. But I'd be fine if you don't want to do that. I have Gallen in 1, I have Bassett in 1, I have Lopez in 2. 2 of my biggest 4 actually for Lopez. And then I'm using weird guys in some of the larger field tournaments like a Stripling as a really get weird play. I'm using a lot, Rasmussen, who's going to be pretty popular, but I'm trying to keep him into like the single entry and 3 entry max or 4 entry max type of stuff. Not really try and focus on him in the bigger binds. I don't think he's a lock, and I think he's being treated as a lock. I think he's going to end up really high owned. So I'd rather use him where it's okay to be a little bit chalkier at pitcher. All right, let's see. And I do want to say that even though I'm not doing much of it because I'm not playing enough lineups too, I really think if you were playing a bunch of lineups, you should be playing Miami. This is we have these come up in baseball sometimes where when the guy who 3 starts ago, so 3 times playing the game ago, when he's the most popular guy for everyone to pick on, and then he becomes the most popular. Now we always know Zach Allen had a bunch of talent and sort of has been in and out, had some injury issues, but just I would encourage, if you really want to get weird in the other one, you can play Miami, and I don't think anyone's going to do that.
Sneaky good GM.
That's right. Hey, but you know what? They compete too. They do. They're not Tampa Bay, but they compete. All right, so let's talk real quickly about basketball. It's really
everybody's out, right? I mean, you got like Paul Reed chalk night, right? Like
Paul Reed chalk, assuming that he starts, of course. Now, if he doesn't start, I would say you should play him, and you'll get lower ownership on him. I think Maxey is like one of the surest things, and Harden, obviously. I don't think that's anything groundbreaking, but I really like both those guys are basically near locks for me. I wouldn't mind if someone wants to throw in a few Matisse Thybulles. The weirdest thing is that Paul Millsap is actually on the 76ers. Don't be surprised if they do something weird like start him. Like, it doesn't need to be Paul Reed. So just keep that in mind. I'm probably going to be skipping Butler and playing a lot of Bam and Hero. I know these are not way off the board or anything. They're just the plays that I like. I do think you can make an argument for who knows what we're going to get with Oladipo. Like, we don't know how many minutes he's going to play, but probably a good guy to speculate on, right? Like, when he gets there, he crushes. So maybe I'd speculate a little bit on some Oladipo love. It's not like they need Vincent to run the point. They could have Oladipo run the point along with Butler, and then still play the rest. Then still play Hero, either PJ Struss or Duncan Robinson. I like Luka the best of the 8,500 plus guys. I like Devin Booker a little bit more than CP3, but most of my focus is going to be on the first game, and I will probably be playing Kleber or Dwight Powell in all my lineups as a value saver. And I really like getting weird with Dinwiddie as a low owned play. So that's sort of a little rundown of what I got for basketball.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely losing.
Well, doesn't mean I'm right. That's what I'm doing. What are you doing? What you got going, Cheese?
I'm not gonna. So I'm gonna take some shots here. I'm gonna have zero Maxey. And then I'm also going to have, I think, zero Butler. So that'll be my two. Those will be my two shots. And then we'll just see what happens.
Yep. Wait, why not?
I'm gonna have almost every lineup.
I don't think Maxey's gonna be crazy popular for what it's worth, and I don't know why he's not.
Well, I'm gonna have most of my lineups, if not all of them, are gonna have Luka in them.
Yep.
And for me, my next highest owned is going to be Bam. That's going to be my next thing. And again, just a stupid 2-game slate. But I'm playing these other guys. I'm going to play Strus. I don't know what to do about Danny Green. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to play him. I have like, again, I'm playing like 20 lineups for 30, like in 2-game slate. I have like 40% of him right now.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of. I didn't end up with any Danny Green, but I certainly understand it. I mean, it's just I always feel like it's so much better for him with Embiid on the court.
The other guy I don't have any of. I don't have any Chris Paul.
Yeah, I didn't end up getting to much Paul either. Although I don't mind it. I do think one of Paul or Booker makes a lot of sense. I would like to get Luka in on DraftKings. It's hard to do. Kobe asked me what's my lean on Powell versus Kleber given the matchup. I just said it. It's split down the middle completely. I don't think we should pretend to know how teams are going to play in matchups on game 1. That's why I always say, like, game 3 or 4, that's when you want to get your money going, because you can see the adjustments being made. We can speculate on what they could be, but there's no way to know. There really is no way to know at this moment. You'd think you'd want a big out there to guard Ayton. At the same time, Kleber would bring Ayton away from the basket. There's arguments for both of them. I don't think that there is a clear answer to that question. So for me, they're split. I'm giving a little bit edge to Kleber. I think Kleber's a little bit of a better play, but I don't think it's by any large number or anything like that. It's really close. The more I think about it, the more I think I need to do this Oladipo thing. I think that's probably the smartest thing you could do to get a little different.
Yeah, I have very little, but I don't have zero. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like considering it.
It's weird because my argument for him is that he's a 5% owned guy who might completely break this. Like
he might get 50, like
he could get 40 plus. Like, it's totally, especially with the way that Miami just sort of like they don't care who does the scoring. You know what I mean? They really don't. Right. They just spread it around. And one night it might be Max Struss night. One night it might be Gabe Vincent. One night it's Butler. One night it's Bam. One night it's Hero. So I'm willing to speculate and say. And
I mean, he did play 30. He did play 36 minutes.
Yeah, but that was without those other guys. That was without Butler.
That game?
Butler was out.
Oh, Butler was out. Right.
So was Lowry, but he's out still. And yeah, they really dominated that Atlanta team. Yeah, but I mean, he played well, So why couldn't he? The guy who scares me that I have locked in is Harden.
Yeah, because Miami could scheme him out of, you know what I mean? Like,
they could try, yeah, especially with the way he can't beat anybody off the dribble anymore. So that's partly why I'm so high on Maxey. The problem is I think you just play both of them.
Right.
But I think Maxey has. I think this could be if they're going to stay in this game, I think Maxey might have to go nuclear. Keep in mind, we all think of James Harden as the scorer. He didn't score 40 points in the game this season. Hasn't scored more than 20. He hasn't scored more than 22 points in over a month, a little over a month. He hasn't scored more than 32 points in, He did twice this season. He scored over 32 points. James Harden. This guy used to average 35. Like, I don't understand it. Crazy, man.
Yeah.
And if there was a night you'd expect him to, you'd think it'd be this night, but I don't know. It could be the Maxey show.
It could be the Maxey show.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Ken, thank you for the kind words. We're happy to be able to give you the input we can, and I appreciate that you value it. Going weird and playing Arizona and Atlanta. Jason Dixon going way off the board playing the Arizona and Atlanta. There you go. Hey, that's good enough to get there. Want to remind everybody, Pablo Lopez is really good, but I like getting different, so I'm not going to criticize too much. And I would say that the one thing I won't do is be playing the Atlanta and Mets game. 54 degrees and wind blowing in from left with a bunch of righties on the out there. It just doesn't feel like a good spot. Alonso,
it's a little. It's not nippy, but it's not that warm. Let's put it that way here.
Yeah, it says 54 degrees and, a little bit of dampness because it's going to be drizzling, right?
Yeah, maybe. I'm gonna try some Atlanta though.
Yeah, I get it. I think that's fine. I do have a little bit of Olsen for what it's worth. I tend to prefer the lefties and when the wind's blowing in, but that's what I would throw out there. Thanks for the nice words, Joanne and Jim and Sheets. If there's nothing else, I don't really have a whole bunch else. I'm just going to get some variations of the same lineups I've got going. Guys, if there's no more questions, I think we'll probably head out of here pretty soon unless Sheets has some more.
No, that sounds good to me.
All right. And every time so far, I've had a big winning night when I've you put Pablo Lopez as your name. I put in the stacks I like the most. And every night I've done it so far, it's been a winning night. So maybe we're onto something with this. All right, guys. Well, good luck. I'll be in Discord all night if anything comes up. And Sheets, good luck tonight. What are you guys having for dinner?
What are we having for dinner? I'm having turkey and cheese on a bagel tonight.
Oh my God, what happened?
Stacy's going out. She has canasta.
Oh, gotcha. No Stacy and no Ashley around to cook anymore either.
That's right.
All right, man. Well, have a good night. Good luck to everybody, and we will hopefully see one of you at the top of the leaderboards. Good luck, everybody.
Yep, sounds good.